Pereira is a cheater.
Alex Pareira, who's probably the biggest example of weight cutting in the UFC, he weighs 185 and you can't believe it for a second.
Alex Pereira's rise to the top of the UFC has been magical, exceptional. It's dreamland whenever he's in the octagon. Definitely for the fans, but for his opponents, they go into deep sleep for a sweet dream. Just ask Jamahal Hill. Oops, I kid. But it hasn't been short of controversy, as he's been accused of cheating more than once, be it the infamous claim of witchcraft, his extreme weight cutting, or the infamous instance of the Jamahal Hill knockout.
Alex Pereira is a cheater. What he does is he weighs in at 185 pounds, and guess what he fights at? 220 plus. He gains literally almost 40 pounds.
Hello fight fans, welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about one of the most exciting fighters in the UFC, Alex Pereira. In this video, we'll be explaining all his controversies. Well, find out if he's a cheater or a weight bully. Also, try to find out if he does perform satanic verses to win his fights. Join us in this as we're about to clarify this enigma. But before that, subscribe to our channel, like and share the video. Finally, hit the bell icon and never miss any of our content. Alex Pereira, what a gem we have on our hands. An unknown fighter 3 years ago came in and conquered the whole game. He dethroned the king at 185 pounds by knocking out Israel Adesanya. He may have lost the rematch, but moved on to become a champ again at light heavyweight. Since then, he's defended the belt twice, and this happened in just 2 years. Alex has turned out to be all that we thought Khamzat Chimaev would be.
One of my most look forward to moments in this sport is the emergence of Alex Pereira in the UFC. I am a giant fan of this man.
But the journey has been as successful as it has been controversial. His success didn't stop his detractors from coming up with some wild accusations, especially the ones who end up on the wrong side of Alex in the octagon. Although some allegations were legit, others lack merit. Let us address all of them one by one. First off, during UFC 303, Yuri bizarrely accused Alex of using witchcraft to win fights. Prochazka admitted that the champ uses black magic and spiritual powers to get an edge in the fight. MMA fans have been intrigued by the discussion surrounding the shamanic rituals that Alex performs during his fights. Such arguments have multiplied ever since BJP weighed in on them.
Everybody knows that, and he's doing these rituals before the fight. Everybody can feel that, what's around him and what's going on. So, and I think Alex can't fight without that.
He even challenged Alex to fight without any spiritual rituals. Not taking the bait, Ben Askren slammed Yuri for even mentioning this on a podcast with DC.
Listen, if he's worried about witchcraft, this is going to be over quick. He's going to get knocked out, and that was what happened.
Not gonna lie, this kinda gives me the Undertaker vibes in WWE. I moved on from WWE just to hear this back in MMA. Oh my god, life comes full circle. Okay, so this is real, folks. What if some analyst reminds you about Adesanya, who messed up the Portan shamanic ritual by knocking him out cold at UFC 287? John Bones Jones, an ardent follower of Christianity, also chimed in on this topic. He shared his own experiences of feeling weird vibes in the arena, saying, "This stuff is all very real." All this talk leads me to think about CTE and its effects on the brain. Even the controversial Sean Strickland denied such things were happening.
He thinks that Alex has that upper hand because of the spiritual rituals going into a fight. I mean, what do you make of that?
I think he's a nut job.
While Pereira hasn't flat out denied or confirmed these claims, he does say he channels the spirit of his indigenous Brazilian tribe during his fights. He often shows up at face-offs with face paint and does the Pataxo battle march during his walkouts. MMA fans, let's talk about Portan's insane weight cuts. Time and time again, he's been called out as a weight bully. I'm getting vibes that this will have more substance in it than the shamanic facade. Alex was initially fighting in the UFC's middleweight division. This 6'4" giant would weigh in at 185 pounds, but by fight night, he'd be walking around at 215 pounds. That's like gaining about 30 pounds in just 24 hours.
Pereira came in
Like what? Like they said, they were saying he was like 220 pounds.
He could have been. Yeah, he could have been. I mean, he certainly gets above that.
Right.
In between fights, and he has a hard time making 180.
For some perspective, Alex's rival, Israel Adesanya, usually walks around at 195 pounds. Izzy's no small dude either, but you could see the size difference when they faced off. Fans of Alex will jump in a beat saying how much weight Paolo or Yoel gained when they fought Izzy, but because Izzy won, it didn't matter. They all have a valid point, to be honest. Joe Rogan, always eager to comment, went in on his podcast saying Pereira's weight cut is basically sanctioned cheating due to the improbability of it being done by someone of the Brazilian size.
It's a bullshit thing. It's basically sanctioned cheating. It really is, but everybody does it. But Izzy barely does it.
Well,
when Izzy went up to fight Jan Blachowicz at light heavyweight, he weighed 194.
Amid all this controversy, another controversial figure popped in, not to malign, but rather to support Poatan. Brendan Schaub doesn't consider it cheating, arguing that if a fighter can make the weight, they should be able to compete in that weight class.
I mean, it can be an advantage, right? Especially if you're good at it, but with Pereira, you know, I wouldn't call it cheating.
Uncle Chael also jumped in on the controversy, supporting Poatan in this by saying,
"If it's legal and it's allowed, we can't use the word cheating."
Leaving all the controversy behind, Alex moved up to the light heavyweight division and made an instant impact. He's the reigning UFC light heavyweight champ. The main reason for his move, probably those extreme weight cuts. But even at light heavyweight, he's still cutting a lot. In his last fight at UFC 303 against Yuri Prochazka, he shared a video of himself on the scales on fight day weighing in at just over 230 pounds. Again, he gained almost 25 pounds over the 205 weight limit. Finally, let's go a little back to UFC 300. Alex knocked out Jamahal Hill for the 205 belt after his loss. Hill didn't say much initially, but it was evident he was unhappy with the way Pereira knocked him out. Less than a month later, Hill expressed his dissatisfaction by writing on X, aka Twitter, stating, "Alex, you set up a punch through a strange, confusing moment and did some weak stuff. But it's alright, because you'll fight me again."
The ref yells, "Stop." I stop completely. He then takes the angle and closes the distance in that, and then tells the ref, no, I'm good.
Wanting to end all of this, Alex came out and slammed Hill. During an interview with Fox Australia before UFC 303, Poatan addressed the situation with Hill and the stop-start nature of the knockout.
People usually do that right away, but maybe he just woke up for the knockout.
Pereira is known to show respect to his opponents and keeps a low profile unless he's given a reason to act otherwise. That is why it seems Poatan ain't playing buddy-buddy with Hill, or at least if he ever did play nice to begin with. Hill wasn't the only one to comment on Pereira's supposedly questionable tactics. There were many pros of the game who reacted to that. Joe Rogan also weighed in on the matter on his podcast with Max Holloway. Rogan analyzed the fight between Hill and Pereira, focusing on the powerful punch that knocked Hill down in the first round. Rogan highlighted that Pereira didn't retreat and wait for the referee's signal to resume. Instead, he quickly closed the distance with a double hop to deliver the decisive strike. Alex Pereira is the first fighter to bring some order to the UFC light heavyweight division since the departure of John Jones in 2020. Not with length of reign, but by being the first since Jones to put multiple and now consecutive title defenses together. Magic or no magic, crazy weight cuts or not, Alex hasn't broken any rules in the book of MMA. He proved his skills again when he knocked out Yuri out cold with a head kick at UFC 303. There's no word yet on his next fight, but it's probably going to be a title defense against longtime contender Magomed Ankalaev. So what do you guys think? Is Alex Pereira cheating with his insane weight cuts? Or does he really have some kind of black magic going on? And who do you want to see him fight next? Drop your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to stay tuned to Sportskeeda MMA for all the latest updates in combat sports.